This video acts as almost a bit of a confession in that I kind of lied to my audience for years about having control and discipline with food. And I didn't realize that I was lying. I actually thought I had control and discipline. That was because I was gaslighting myself. I had gaslit myself that I did not like, want, or need sugary, carby, dopamine, junk, processed foods for years. And I'm going to tell you all about it. And I'm also going to share how so many ADHDers also do this and how this keeps them trapped with their relationship with food. It keeps them stuck in binge restrict cycles. It stops them ever having true food freedom. And it can cause potentially disordered eating. So I wanted to do this for a bit of awareness, to also be very put my cards on the table, honest about the truth, and to give you guys some insight as to why it is problematic and some ways out of it. So let's get stuck in. Now, to give you guys a bit of backstory with my journey into this. So I went through cycles of quite normal eating, as normal can be as a child. Then as a teen, fell into binge eating, emotional eating, secret eating, gained quite a lot of weight. Then went into full-blown anorexia, then came out of the other side, back to binge eating. And when I decided I wanted to lose weight the right way, I hired a personal trainer who showed me, protein and calories and all that good stuff. And I just thought at the time that I had thrown myself into it. I was like, right, I'm becoming this fitness person and I'm doing it right. And over the years of working with other coaches, and I'm not here to shame people, but certain coaches' approaches, let's just say, made things worse for me, which is why it is so important that you hire the right coach if you are neurodivergent, struggling with food, or you've had struggles with food. And I cannot emphasize that enough, because otherwise it will keep you trapped. You will think you've sorted your shit out, but you'll see from today's episode, you absolutely haven't. But I was gaslighting myself. I was like, oh, I don't even like pizza. I remember telling myself, I don't like milky coffee. I don't like chocolate. I don't need chocolate. And I was just convinced that I didn't, I gaslit myself that much that I didn't need or want these foods. And I felt in control. And everyone was looking at me like, oh, she's so disciplined. She's got so much willpower. But actually what had happened was I was such an all or nothing person, as a lot of ADHDers are. And for me, it felt like the only way that I could include those foods would be to binge, because that was the relationship I'd had. Like if I was having pizza, I'd eat the whole pizza. If I have chocolate, I can't leave a little bit, I'm having the whole bit. So it felt easier to gaslight myself, and I was doing this subconsciously. It wasn't a conscious thing. It was easier to gaslight myself that I didn't like these foods. I didn't need them, I didn't want them, and be very black and white with that rule, which then made me feel like I was in control. And what shone a light on me that this had happened was getting an ADHD diagnosis and really understanding my relationship with food and where ADHD came into that. And when I was going through the process of getting diagnosed with ADHD, I was also going through a process of trying to sort out my hormonal health, because these big swings of undereating, overeating, restriction had led me to have hormonal health issues, which if you guys would like me to do an episode on that in the future, please let me know. And I was really working on my relationship with food, because during that process, I had to allow myself to eat more, include more food freedom, break these rules that I'd had, because one thing that can cause hormonal issues with your menstrual cycle and periods is not just physical restriction of low calories, but the mental restriction too. And I'd realized that I had so many black and white rules and fears and anxieties about, well, I can't just have a little bit of this, it's all or it's nothing. And that I had so much lack of self-trust around certain foods, whereas I'd convinced myself and the world that I had control with food, and that was not the truth at all. And so many ADHDers do with this to feel in control. They start to tell themselves these stories like, I don't even like chocolate, I don't enjoy snacking, I don't want to do this. And it creates a sense of control that feels good. But underneath, it's, I don't trust myself. If I start, I won't stop. I'm scared that I'll binge, I'm scared that I'll just never be able to stop eating and I'll gain all this weight that I've lost. And it's not actually preference. It's not actually self-control. It's fear-based avoidance. It's self-gaslighting. And self-gaslighting is not talked about enough in terms of the relationship of ADHD and food. It's usually just the overeating, the binge cycles, which is super important. It's a struggle, it's a challenge. I've done plenty of content on this, but gosh, this was something that was like a holy shit moment to me, because what I realized when I realized I had been self-gaslighting is that I didn't have the control with food that I thought I did. And ultimately, I'd not been able to enjoy food the way that I actually deeply wanted to because I felt like I had no control. You know, I was turning down social occasions, bringing my own food, saying I wasn't hungry, saying I don't like that takeout, I don't like that food, I don't want that food. And I did. Deep down, I wanted to be a part of that, you know, to eat the food with my family. Deep down, I really did want the takeout rather than the meal prep chicken and salad thing that I'd made. Deep down, I did just want a little bit of cake, but it felt like all or nothing. It felt like if I started, I couldn't stop, that I would regain the weight, that I was out of control. So it was a complete false sense of control. And why so many people stay stuck in this cycle is, well, one, if, for example, you have lost the weight or you are losing weight and that feels good for you, you feel more confident in your body, maybe you're getting compliments, maybe people say you're looking amazing. You don't want to let that go. You know, if you've been neurodivergent and maybe dealt with a lot of criticism, a lot of negativity, a lot of shame, you're actually starting to experience the opposite. And for me, that was the truth. You know, I'd spent years not happy in my body, not feeling like I belong anywhere, not feeling good enough. And all of a sudden, I'm getting the opposite. I'm in a body that I feel amazing in. I'm getting all these compliments. I'm getting likes. I feel, you know, you're so disciplined. You're amazing. You're an inspiration. It's like the opposite of everything I'd had. And I wanted to hold on to that so deep. So of course I wasn't going to want to let go of it. And that's where that gaslighting can get worse because my brain wanted to hold on to feeling like I belong, feeling good enough after years of not having that. But it doesn't help you out in the long term, because it stops you living the life you truly want. Like, yeah, a bit of validation's good, but you know what's also good? Being able to eat coffee and cake with your family. It doesn't allow you to have true food freedom, because food freedom is being able to have little bits and bobs whenever you want it. It's not panicking. It's not feeling like this immense sense of control, you know? True food freedom is if someone called me up right now and said, Luce, you fancy coffee and cake? I'm not thinking, no, I'm going to make an excuse up. No, I can't do that because I'm going to binge and it's going to throw me off. It's being able to go, yeah, do you know what? I can have a bit of cake. And that's completely okay. That's what it is. And by gaslighting yourself to be like, oh, I don't like it, oh, I don't need it, you make your relationship with that food worse. You actually build this narrative that you have no self-control. You know, the more that I was saying, oh, I don't want that, the more lack of self-control I felt like I had. So when I was working on my relationship with food, there was times when I was overeating. There was times where I felt a bit out of control because I'd created this relationship that I couldn't just have a little bit of it. I couldn't portion it. I couldn't have a little bit of it. And I had to build the skills, the tools, which I now teach myself, and you know, I'm still working on them with myself and with clients, so that now, and I had to work on skills and reframing my relationship so that I could just have a little bit of chocolate. I could spontaneously have a bit of cake and be absolutely fine. Self-gaslighting fuels the all or nothing thinking, and self-gaslighting keeps so many people stuck. So if you're in this weird position now where you've listened to this and think, well, am I actually telling, you know, making these boundaries with food and it's healthy for me, it's good for me, you know, because by the way, guys, there is nothing wrong with saying no. There is nothing wrong with saying, hey, do you know what? I don't fancy that, or I'm going to try and reduce that intake to be healthy or lose weight. There's nothing wrong with that. Are you self-gaslighting and making your relationship with food worse? So I just want to leave you with a few sort of like questions to allow you to identify which it is. Do I genuinely not like this food anymore? Like I don't like the taste, the texture, the flavor? Or am I telling myself that? If eating this food had no consequences at all, would I then want to eat it? If I did eat the food, what is it that I am actually afraid of? And is eating this way actually how I genuinely want to live my life? And use those questions to guide it. Now, if you are stuck on this, this is something that I do help support my clients with inside my coaching. So I will leave my links for my coaching inquiries below. And if you have found this interesting and you would like me to do a part 2 on this, where I go into some strategies for how you can start to move away from this self-gaslighting and feel more in control, please just let me know and I will do that. Just comment below and I will get on that. But I hope you found this one interesting. And confession, I feel better like getting it out of my system. I feel better coming on, like, you know, being honest about it, because I feel like I lied for years. But hey, this is the thing, right? When you're neurodivergent and you're living with undiagnosed ADHD and you're doing these things and you just think that you're doing the right thing, it kind of diagnosis allows you to come to terms with these things. So it still feels like I'm understanding myself. And that's why I want to be honest about the struggles, the challenges, the things that I've been through, so it can help other people. And that's what I'm here to do. But over and out for today's episode. Like I said, if you want me to do that part 2, just comment below and I will do that. And if you haven't already, make sure you've hit the like. If you're enjoying this and you're not subscribed, please subscribe, whether you are YouTube, Spotify, because it helps a girl out. And I will see you on the next one.